What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. This is Jason. I'm a real estate investor here in South Florida, and I wanted to make this video talking about the process I just went through to get my last property. This was my second one, and I was considering a house hacking a small multifamily, so quadplex, triplex, duplex here in Fort Lauderdale. I was looking in Fort Lauderdale. But the numbers are tricky, man. The numbers are tricky, and I'll walk through some of the thinking and what I ended up doing actually in this video. So yeah, let's get into that. All right, so I brought out the spreadsheet. You know, things are about to get serious. Okay, so this was a spreadsheet I was using for looking for properties here. I started because I knew since last year I wanted to get one, and December I started actively looking. And I built out this spreadsheet, and I was looking at all the multifamilies in Broward, West Palm area. And this is what I came with, and you see here we'll have the purchase price. I'll link this in the description so you guys can check it out. Maybe you can use it for your search if you're looking for one of your first properties or your next one. So I had the price, the down, the address, and then I had something I added was addition possible, because that's something you can do to create value, is build an addition to the property. And that's what I did my first one, and that's made that a cash cow in terms of cash flow. So that's what I was looking for. And yeah, I just had some more additional information. This is where I did like the breakdown of how much revenue I'd get and what would be the cash flow. And something interesting I did is I had this column here where it's the cash, it's like the cash on cash return if I was like, I was consider myself a tenant paying $2,000 in rent. So when I did that, these were the main ones that cash flowed, and that was just one way of looking at it, because without, like, if I didn't do that, all of these are negative, which means you're paying out of pocket. And in this column, it kind of tells you how much you'd have to pay. So if with me as a tenant, I'd have to pay $800 a month, which is not bad. It's less than my rent at my previous place, even though my rent at my previous place was like $1,000. I had a good deal. I had a good deal. All right. Oops. And yeah, so this was the numbers I was working with, and this is what kind of made me inch away or move away from small multifamily, because the cash flow didn't work with the amount I wanted to put down. So that's another thing that I didn't cover, is I was using FHA, putting 3.5% down, because I wanted to save some reserves and use that for the next deal, right? I didn't want to put too much cash in this deal. So I have this number here, 8%, which pretty much is what you'll end up paying with like closing costs and everything after the down. And that's what made these numbers more difficult, because I've seen if you put like 20% down, then you can cash flow a decent amount in the Broward area. But at 3.5%, you're really not gonna cash flow anything, especially if you're living in there. But maybe you reduce your rent. You know, maybe if your rent's like $3K, you can come here and like, try to get that down. And this is not. Some of these are not set up. Okay, and then there was also the after. This one was a good one too, because you could see, after I moved out, what would be my cash on cash, and the revenue. But these weren't enticing me, because I really would want to aim for 1K in revenue per property. Otherwise, the juice is not worth the squeeze, in my opinion. Okay, and then I have this column here. We're adding the unit, because that was the kind of the hack, because that lets you bring in more cash flow and create more equity if you add a unit. With duplex and triplexes, though, it's a little tricky in most of Broward. I called the zoning people, and you can build an ADU, but then the ADU is metered, like it's under the same meter as one of the units. So when you move out, that's going to be weird. You're going to have to cover the electricity and the utilities. So what I ended up doing is I ended up looking for houses, because what I did with my first property is it's a house, it's a manufactured home actually. And if you subdivide it, you can rent by the room and have everybody have their own private entrance, and you get kind of like a small multifamily, but not really. And yeah, that's kind of where I pivoted towards, since the purchase price of the homes would be less than the multifamily. Because if you look here, you're not finding a property like in Fort Lauderdale, like in an okay area. Because I wasn't looking at the best, because the best is probably like Victoria Park, but there you're probably looking at like 800 for like a duplex or triplex, close to $1 million. So yeah, I wasn't finding anything like below 400. So I started looking at homes, and I found a pretty cool home, which I think it should show up here. This one, they had 4 beds, and it was kind of set up already to like subdivide the house. But I ended up not getting it because I tried to lowball the person, and somebody else came in and paid. It was listed for $450, and I think I ended up selling for $440. But I wasn't gonna pay $440, to be honest. But what I ended up doing is I ended up getting a home in Pompano, and this one is 3 beds, 2 baths. And let me switch. Yeah, this one is 3 beds, 2 baths. It has an efficiency in the back, which I've already fixed up and rented out. We closed on this one 2 months ago, so yeah, I had time to fix it up, put some money in it, and yeah, get it rented. So that's good. And then so there's 2 parts. I'm in one part, which is the 2-bedroom, 1 bath. The other part is a 1-bedroom, 1 bath. And then the plans in the future is at the end of this year, I'm gonna get a construction loan and use that to build another addition, 1 bedroom, 1 bath, and then rent that out in the future. One thing I forgot to add is for the property I bought. So I'll give you guys a breakdown of the cash flow. So it's not cash flowing now. Mortgage is at $3,300, and utilities and water run it up to like 400 combined. No, actually 300 combined. So that what is that? 3,600. The tenant currently pays. I already got a tenant in there. They're paying $1,100 a month. So that leaves me taking the hit for, what is that, $2,500, which is not bad. That's like, for a 2-bedroom, 1 bath, that's pretty much average rent here in South Florida. It's a lot more than before, because I was only paying $1,000, so it's not bad. Let's just do this in a spreadsheet actually. Right now, what are we doing right now? Right now it's 33 plus 300. So we're at 250. Not 250, sorry. We're at 2,500 for what I'm in for each month. And then let's say once we build the addition, we'll subtract this 1,100, which I'm pretty sure I can raise it. I can raise it to like 1,300. I just need to add some new flooring, but I'm not gonna do that now. But okay, so with the addition, it brings down my cost to $1,200 a month. And then if I turn this to an Airbnb, which it would just be Airbnb the portion of the house that I'm in, so the 2-1, and then the other parts would still be long term. And when I say Airbnb, I mean more like a midterm rental. I wouldn't do a short term for this property. So let's say bring up my utilities to 4,000, and what are we looking at there? We can just copy these. And with a midterm rental, I can make around 2,500, which would net me this amount. It's not bad for a property. So that's like a rough estimate. We'll see if this actually plans out. Depends a lot on the market. But But yeah, these are pretty good numbers, and this one made me go with the house route instead of house hacking like a small multifamily, which I'll probably end up still doing. I think my next property might maybe a small multifamily, but you never know. Sorry for the interruption. Back to the video. Another thing I'm looking at is a fix and flip. So I built out a similar sheet actually for a fix and flip, and I'll drop this in here. But I just started looking at fix and flips. I haven't done one yet, but I have the contacts and I have the time to do it as well. So it's something I'm considering, since it's a pretty good model to do fix and flips, and then you end up keeping some of them, whether it's a home or most likely a multifamily. And yeah, this is what I have. This one is in Fort Myers, and it's an interesting deal, but I haven't jumped on it because it's a wood frame, and in South Florida, man, wood frame, no bueno. No bueno. Even at this price, it's at $190. And you can make a pretty good deal with these comps, but that wood frame, I don't know. These comps, I don't know if they're taking into account the framing. And with insurance and everything, I don't know if a buyer would really want to pay $350, $300 for a wood frame home in 2025. But yeah, if any of you guys want to go take a stab at this in Fort Myers, go for it. Let me know how it goes. Maybe I'm stopping myself, you know, maybe I'm holding myself back from a couple $1,000 deal, but the wood framing is not something I want to deal with, especially with my first fix and flip, since the market might be like, nah, or we might even get another hurricane this season that comes through and takes all the wood. And down here in this spreadsheet, if you guys want to copy it, you can just change this multiplier. Let's say you can lowball the hell out of people. Probably piss some people off, but maybe you'll get a deal. You never know. That's all I got, guys. Thank you for watching this video. If you made this far, let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know if you have any questions, anything you want me to cover down below in the comments. I'll see you guys around. Oh, if you're in Fort Lauderdale, South Florida, Broward, anything, hit me up. I'd like to connect. Let me know if there's any meetups. I'm actually going to meet up today in Delray. It's Coffee with Investors. It's every second Saturday. If you guys want to swing by and just connect, it's always good. And yeah, let me know if you have any other meetups that are interesting and worth going to. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.